Quando sono solo sogno all'orizzonte, manca le parole. Sì, lo so che non c'è luce in una stanza quando manca il sole. Se non ci sei tu con me, su le finestre. Mostra a tutti il tuo cuore che hai acceso, chiudi dentro me la luce che hai incontrato per strada. Con te partirò, che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. Stavolta io li vivrò con te. Partirò su navi per mari che io lo so, non esistono più. Con te io li vivrò. Quando sei lontana sogna l'orizzonte, manca le parole. E io sì lo so che sei con me, tu mia luce, tu sei qui con me. Mio sole, tu sei qui con me, con me, con me, con me. Con te partirò, paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. Stavolta sì li vivrò con te. Partirò su navi per mari che io lo so, non esistono più. Con te io sì li vivrò con te. Partirò su navi per mari che io lo so. Con te io sì li vivrò con te. Partirò io con te.
Thank you.
So thank you. Yeah. I try to give you a nice song. Very spontaneous. So, yeah. Paolo, thank you very much for this really, really amazing song. I'm always wondering what talents we have within our colleagues. Just to let you know, he's not a professional singer. Of course, he's also, but he's a researcher at our university, and I'm really, really very, very impressed. I really wish to could sing like you, but I think it's better I wouldn't start, otherwise you wouldn't stay this afternoon with us. Ja, good afternoon, everybody. Schönen Nachmittag allerseits. Dear esteemed guests, it's an honor for us to have even the governor of the state of Carinthia, Dr. Peter Kaiser, with us, a strong supporter of our European University, and of course a strong supporter of all the thoughts about European integration. Then it's also an honor for us to have rectors, presidents, and colleagues from all our 8 European University Alliance partners within us. I really would like to special mention Jean Marteau, the rector of the leading university. Great to have you all here with us. Thank you. And it's also an honor for us, as you know, we also associated member of the ATHENA Alliance, European University Alliance. It's an honor for us to have also rectors, general directors with us. I like to very special welcome Nikos and Kostas, the rectors and general rector from HMU, from Creta, within us. Thank you for being here. Then, of course, it's a pleasure to have some more esteemed guests. I especially would like to point out Markus Steindl, from the Department of Education of the Carinthian government. Great to have you. Also an applause. Then I haven't seen, I'm not sure, Martin Hitz, the professor and vice rector of Universität Klagenfurt. So maybe he comes a couple of minutes later. Also great to have our partners here. And I have seen Mark Germeshausen somewhere. Yes, here you are, Mark, from the Europahaus Klagenfurt. Very welcome at our university. Then I'd like to welcome all our keynote speakers, Joachim Ekström, Uwe Brandenburg, and Martin Gradl from the ÖAD. Welcome. Yes, and of course it's an honor for us to have our managing director, Siegfried Spanz, with us. Siegfried. And it's a great pleasure for me to have even our vice rector, Angelika Mitterbacher, within us. So very, very welcome to all of you. Dear colleagues from CUAS, dear students, dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy that you all joining us at our International Day. And as far as you know, this event is live streamed and sent out all over the world. And I also would like to welcome all our international partners all over the world joining us online. Welcome also to you. I want to step more to the formal points. Internationalization stands as one of the central strategic goals of our university. The hard work, dear colleagues, has allowed us to make significant progress in this area. Today, we also celebrate one of our most remarkable achievements, CUAS membership in the ACE2-EU European University Alliance, co-funded by the European Commission. This membership signifies a new and exciting chapter of our university, placing us at the heart of a dynamic network of innovation and collaboration across Europe. We all know we live in very challenging times, just thinking about climate change, financial and political instability, and so on. And I think international cooperation between researchers, educators, and students, the next generation of Europeans is now more essential than ever. A stronger, united, and better integrated Europe is crucial to finding solutions to complex issues and facing these serious and urgent threats together. Only through unity, European universities can strengthen their position in the global education market, thereby increasing Europe's strength on the worldwide stage. Looking ahead, CUAS is filled with optimism and will continue to support and encourage further initiatives in internationalization. Our university has enjoyed international outreach and success for many years. I would like to extend my gratitude to our colleagues, staff, and also our students who have contributed to these programs and all these accomplishments in research, teaching, and education. We look forward to work together with all our international partners, especially the alliance members from ACE2-EU and ATHENA, their faculty staff, students, and the community to build a brighter future for all of us. I also would like to thank at this time to all our partners for having those trust in us and for making those contributions that made this success possible. And this European University is not a project, it's a transformation process. And we really look forward to work together for a lot of years to come. And finally, I would like to close my speech with a thought, again, just a couple of days from a rector colleague from the University of Maribor, who said, internationalization is brain circulation. So let us all circulate our brains and create a brighter future for all of us. So thank you for your attention. Thank you. Finally, I have to do one more thing. I really have to thank the great organization team for making this success possible. And I know there are a lot of people working in this and engaged in this, but I would like to come Julia Marinaccio on the stage and also Alexandra Yama, please. Could I join this? Yes, thank you. So, dear Julia, I would like to start with you. Thank you for this great effort in this vision, this European University activities, and especially also for organizing this event. I would like to thank you with flowers, but flowers are not enough. As you might know, Julia is a truly international person. She grew up near Vienna, and then she worked a lot of years were in the north, in Finland. She married an Italian man. Now she lives in Italy.
Whom I met in Taiwan.
Whom she met in Taiwan. She does a lot of research in the field of Asian culture and so on. Yes, and now she's I would say, our head of European University. And she likes international food, and she has seen a lot, and her favorite now is Kärntner Speck, Carinthian bacon. So we really, this is a small surprise for you. Enjoy it now. All the best and thank you for great efforts. And at the other side, I would like Alexandra Yama, the head of ERO. She does also a great job in her fields in the different kinds of bring internationalization to our university. And I also would like to start with the flowers. They all like flowers, of course. But but flowers also, of course, not enough. And she likes chocolate. And we ask all our European partners to bring chocolate from their home cities, home countries to her. So, Alexandra, this is for you. Please enjoy it, and you even can share it with your colleagues and so on. It's quite a lot. But not that you get the impression my colleagues all like to eat very much. They also very impressed in international cuisine and international eating culture. And there we have a very special book to get eating traditions from all over Europe. So just for the brain circulation. Thank you. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. So thank you very much for the great job you are doing. Thank you, Julia. Yeah, and now it's a pleasure for me to hand over to the great president of the University of Santarém, Portugal, João Martão. João, the stage is yours. Thank you, thank you. You can take this.
I prefer to use the microphone. Okay. So, first of all, thank you again, Peter, for this warm welcome. Also, the governor of the Kärnten University and all your colleagues and staff, students, teachers, and administrative staffs. I will be very short because we spoke already during the morning about these huge ambitions that we have in front of us. We are already involved in European universities, so we could consider ourselves as colleagues. So in the name of the Alliance partners, I would like to say that it's a huge honor for us to be here for, I think, some of us the first time. We hope that we could be here often, for sure, in the future. And of course, it is very important to have your presence also in our institutions in the future. And we are counting on that. Because this is not a rector's or president's project. This is a project that belongs to our own local communities, and that is very important. We know that we need to run fast to do this application because we have a deadline, and we didn't have too much opportunity to involve all of our community during this process. We know that. But we want to make it clear that from now on, your participation is crucial because this is a bottom-up project. We need your involvement in order to make sure that we deliver the right products and we answer the challenge, the right challenge that we have in front of us. And this includes also our local partners and also our local governors. Okay? So that's very important, your presence here. We had the presence of the other governors in all our previous meetings that we had, and we have also our local and regional governors with us. So this is not an academic project, not at all. This is a process to involve also our regions, our local partners, and of course our academic staff. So it's a huge transformational process. So thank you again, Peter, for having us here. It's a great pleasure. And I will end just saying that this alliance wants to be like Apollo within our European alliances. So we want to be an alliance that have impact on the regions, on the European society, and to be like you, to have a huge impact within Europe. Thank you for this, for your performance, and thank you so much, and good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I guess I don't need to introduce myself now. Thank you for very warm, welcoming words and also the words of appreciation. We have organized this event to foster the dialogue and also the collaboration on important global issues. We wanted, with this event, to create a platform where the exchange of ideas, knowledge, exchange of examples of good practice is possible. But as Peter mentioned, we are honored to have a very special guest today with us, and it is my privilege to introduce the Governor of Carinthia, Mr. Peter Kaiser, who has kindly joined us to share a few words of welcome. Please join me to give him a warm welcoming.
Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear coordinators, presidents, people from around 30 different countries of Europe and over Europe, first of all, I warmly welcome in behalf of the Carinthian government. We are very happy and also proud to host you, to have you here in Carinthia. First remark before going into some contents. If I would receive a present next time, Peter, my wish is I'm collecting wines. So at the next International Day, you can be sure, if he promises me that he will do the same like he have done to the two very nice and busy ladies, I will come surely. Second, you are here in the region of Carinthia. Carinthia is something like a specific region in Europe. It's combining three different cultures who are very important for the European history. The Roman one, the Slavic one, the German one. Only in Carinthia, all these three different types of cultures, of identities, of languages are matching. Therefore, the conclusion is internationality, international cooperation, European Union to live in all fields of important chapters like science, like education, like international exchange, are supported by our government. The government of Carinthia has one big issue on its top of our so-called program, governmental program. It is the fulfilling and the guidelines of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations and the so-called Agenda 2030 of the European Union. And in this agenda, The place for education, for research, for development, for science is a very important one. We need education. We need education on the field of international exchanges, and we need a European-wide concentrated output of that. And to support that is also the task of regional authorities as well as the national level. But more as that, we need a European-wide understanding of our common targets. To reach that, I'm very happy to have partners like the universities of applied science. I'm very happy that we have universities, but also other colleges and educational institutions that are working in the same direction. And if I heard that this project that we are part of gains the support of the European Union, I know that this institution is going the right way, a way which should lead us of common understanding, of peace, I stress this term especially, and also of international exchange. Let's learn from each other. To support that is one of our main goals in our government. Once again, warmly welcome, and if you want to see me next year, you know what you have to do.
Well, thank you, Governor Kaiser, for your presence today and also for your support. Without further ado, I would like to invite our students, Alina, Davin, Hilde, and Mr. Colin Heller to come to the stage. The next performance is a 6-minute pitch on realities and benefits of multiculturalism. The presentation was originally created for the International Science Slam that was hosted by CUAS last May. And this event brought researchers from Europe together for a fun and engaging competition where the audience voted for the best presentation. Now, today you are going to get only a glimpse of the event, but still, we hope you are going to enjoy this showcase of creativity.
Schönen guten Tag, buongiorno, Filip, здравейте, Zlata, привет, доброго дня, dobar dan, labdien, hello to everybody. Buenos dias, grazie, buenos dias. Did we forget one language? Bonjour, grazie. Buenos dias. I'm very sorry. So, my colleagues and me from the program of intercultural management are working on the topics of multilingualism, language management, internationalization, and special multilingualism in business. As we are jumping all day between the languages, right now we have students with 26 first languages. Actually, I ask you to allow me to use this paper support because English is not my first and not my second language. We ask ourselves, do we bring the multilingual world to Villach? Is there one multilingualism, or are there more than one? Are there multilingualisms? Yeah? Maybe you have heard about elite multilingualism versus multilingualism in minority, migration, and refugee context. Some months ago, I attended a conference in Vienna on the topic of multilingualism, and one of the keynote speakers mentioned University of Salzburg and Innsbruck have the highest level of internationalization and multilingualism in Austria. Auf dem Papier. actually. Most of the internationals came from Germany and South Tyrol. Also, this is not multilingualism and not really internationalization. What's about Villach? Also, if a tourist from Germany, like my family, all the Carinthians know, the guys with the white socks and traveling to Carinthia, ask, lieber Einheimischer, könnten Sie mir sagen, wo man in Villach gut essen kann? Actually, this is also not multilingualism. And this is really not language diversity. Language diversity is not only created through language learning, language diversity is created by the people who come to us, wie Alina. Alina, unsere
Hello.
Studentin aus Kasachstan.
Сәлеметсіз бе, менің атым Алина. Қазақстан Алматыда қаласынан келдім. Қазақстанда екі тілде, орыс және қазақ сөйлейді. Бірақ отбасымен және достарымен мен орысша сөйлеймін, сондықтан қазақ тілі аз сөйлеймін. Қазіргі таңда мен Австрияда екінші бакалавриат алып жатырмын. Бәріңізге рахмет.
Thank you. Did you understand anything? I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry, but maybe you love the melody of Alina's language. After her studies, Alina works in an international company in Carinthia, using, of course, English as a lingua franca, like we do it today, and meets a new colleague from Zimbabwe.
Makadini, ine ndinonzi Devon, minoti muri kunzwa kuti ndiri kutaura nezvei. Ndikuona vamwe vari uko, vamwe vari kubva uko, minoti vari kuziva kuti ndinotaura nezvei. Ndinogara kuVillach, asi pamwe pacho ndofarira kuenda kuKlagenfurt. Ndinodzidza panapa, minoti pane ari kunzwa here kuti ndikuti chii, but yeah, zvinenge zviri kunakidza. Maita basa.
Thank you. Did you understand anything? I'm really sorry, but maybe you love the melody of Devon's language. So, can you imagine how these people feel if they are, or if they hear Carinthian German all time and just Carinthian German? We continue our game. The two ladies in the evening go out in a bar and meet a new colleague, Hilde from Vietnam.
Chào mọi người, con tên là Nguyễn Thị Phượng, con đến từ Việt Nam và Áo, ba con người là Áo, mẹ em là Việt Nam. Chị Trang đừng quay em nữa, em bị ngại á, bị sượng á, nhưng mà chị cứ quay. Cảm ơn mọi người.
Thank you. I think you know my text already. Did you understand anything? I'm so sorry, but maybe you love the melody of Hilde's language. And now can you imagine how local Carinthians feel if they hear Kazakh, Shona, or Vietnamese all day? However, a multilingual context does not mean that each language and each person can be heard individually and separately. Language diversity and multilingualism and multilingual context means we all live together. Alina, wie geht es dir?
Бәрі жақсы, рахмет. Қалың қалай?
Không biết họ ăn cơm gì nữa, chị Trang nhà nấu cơm chưa?
Hans kunzwa kuti matichi, but zvinenge zvakanakidza.
Это все очень здорово, спасибо. So, now let's embark on the linguistic and cultural adventure, how Hilde did it im Rosental.
Hopefully there's some people who understand this dialect. Servus, du Badan, ich bin Hilde Schweiger. Ich weiß, so sieht eine Hilde Schweiger aus. Ich bin nicht eine Omi, ich weiß. Man denkt ganz oft, es ist sehr hilfreich, wenn man zu mir auf Hochdeutsch redet. Aber ich verstehe wirklich gar nichts. Mein Lieblingsessen ist leider nicht Sushi in einem chinesischen Restaurant, aber Richard-Suppe und gefüllte Paprika. Total witzig, gell? Aber wenn ich sage, ja, ich komme aus Rosenthal, dann sagt man, nein, woher kommst du genau?
Okay. Thank you very much. A living language diversity is based on understanding the people who speak other languages and not just the language. And that's the way we live in our multilingual world in Villach. Let's enjoy the beauty of the language diversity, of course with the help of English as a lingua franca, as now our keynote speakers do also. Thank you very much. Dankeschön.
Well, I guess we will continue using English as we want to ensure that the message is going to be understood by the audience. But it's always good to have a good laugh, so thank you. Now, it's also good to move a little bit, so we would like to try to make a group picture with you, and for that I would like to ask you to stand up, and I would like to ask our cameraman to come to the stage. Now, do we say yes to Europe? Yay! Perfect. And now, it's my great pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker for today. He holds a PhD from the University of Bristol, an MSc in Economics from the University of Swansea, an MA in Islamic Sciences from the University of Münster. Currently, he is the Managing Director of Global Impact Institute. He's also a visiting lecturer at ESCP Business School. He has served as an Associated Professor at the University Rovira I Virgili. Now, I have had the privilege to work with him by 2 EU projects, and I can personally attest to his dedication and also expertise. He has made his passion for internationalization of higher education to his life mission, and he is trying to bring the global perspective, among others, to the academia. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you all. If you had one chance, one opportunity, that are the words of a great philosopher of these days. Anybody knows who that is? Eminem. And what it is, you know probably the 8 Mile, what it is about going your way, doing what everybody thinks is impossible, succeeding but also accepting failure on the way. I will come back to that. You will know why I say that. What I will talk about is internationalization and impact, and I will talk about also your alliance, of course. But one thing I have to say, first of all, internationalization is not a means and a goal in itself. Just to travel somewhere, just to do something, is not a goal. It's only an instrument. And I think this has been made very clear by all 3 of you already. It's an instrument to make life better for most people. And I would like to delve into some things. You have to switch to my presentation, actually. I just said, did I not just say, I would love to see something not working out, because that's when creativity sets in, and you're thinking, what can I say now, until they figure it out they are too fast for that. So next time, we are not 5 minutes to 12 o'clock, we are 5 seconds to 12 o'clock. When it comes to a lot of challenges that we are facing nowadays, and that is my point of internationalization. I will not talk about internationalization in terms of, oh yeah, make students travel around a bit, no, auberge espagnole, make academics have nice meetings on conferences, focus on the academic. No, universities are about service for society. And the society right now is literally drowning in different challenges. The first one, we have democracy under attack. We have violence, we have war in Europe. If anybody had told me, a baby boomer, that I would see war again after we solved the Cold War, I would have said, you're crazy. But we also have democracy under attack. We have people who just storm into parliament, who shoot politicians. We have politicians who initiate these things. We have a wild society right now which sees a huge gap, a widening gap of two parts in the society everywhere. And this is posing big, big problems. We have another big challenge ahead. I don't know who of you is like me, a science fiction freak, but 2042 is the predicted year of the singularity. Anybody knows what that is, the singularity? That's the moment when the artificial intelligence supersedes all human intelligence combined. Skynet, so to speak. That's the challenge. But also when you look into the last 8 months of KI or AI development, you see how the development in technology is so much faster than anything we are used to. We are very slow in our changes, but technology is not, and there will be a lot of things happening. And the biggest challenge of all is climate change. Who of you is familiar with it? I love this tool. I have to. No. Go back. There you are. Who of you knows what this here is? Anybody? This here is the death zone. Within the next 30 years, how it is developing right now, this will be the zone where the average temperature and humidity is so high that you cannot sweat anymore. So you cannot control and regulate your body temperature and you just die. So either you live underground or you migrate. If this goes on as it is, we will have 3.5 billion people being climate refugees. Okay? Doomsday. No, but this is the real challenge. Okay, this is what we are facing as a society. And then this has consequences also in Austria. You know, here, that's what the glacier looked like in 2005. It was here, it's gone. 50% have vanished already. And we have a lot of other problems you are very well aware of, the erosion issues. We have heavy rain, everything is getting extreme, right? We have another one. I am a very good example of that. Hello here, I'm a baby boomer. So I'm your problem, okay? Because I will live not as long as my female partners in the boomer generation, but long enough to cause problems for you in terms of the aging society. But this is much more dramatic than we think. This was the amount of people of an age 60 or higher globally. This is the case at 2100 and this is at 2050. So we are changing dramatically. Today I'm not talking about the opportunities which are also in that, of different life cycles of learning and so forth, but you here, particularly the ladies, you have an average life expectation close to 100 years. That changes an awful lot in all kinds of aspects. And in Austria, this is the dramatic situation that we see. This is where we are, and this will be the situation later. We will have very small percentage of prospective students in that certain age group and a lot of old people. We also, here in Carinthia, you have the issue that the prediction of your demographic check that had been done here in 2020 said there's even a likeliness of a drop in population. There's a drastic drop in this region for the age group. You might already have an idea where I'm going to, because I will not leave with the problems, I just want to point them out. Why is it a problem? Sadly, there's not the same kind of project, or I'm not aware of, something that the CHE is doing in Germany, which is a monitor of where universities draw students from. And you can really put that down that in the end, 80% of students at a University of Applied Science come from an area of around 50 kilometers or less, depending on how the travel opportunities are. So you are very, very bound as a University of Applied Science by the demographic situation in your area, okay? Also, this is the development of your domestic students in the moment, as far as I saw the data, and I tried to do some prediction on the base of the data that I've seen for the development of the population. So we can expect a drop in the market, let's put it like that, that's for Joachim basically, the market of students. So what I think is these changes require us, you, the society, to change and create impact. Impact in the sense of change, of making something different from what it is right now. Because that's all that impact is. It's a big word right now. Basically it just means from point A to point B, there's a difference. And that's where we have to go to. I want to give you a short example on international students and why they are not a problem, they are a solution. First of all, the middle class is growing globally, massively. What is the main interest of middle class parents? Anybody an idea? Education of children. I learned that, by the way, from comedians. You have to repeat what the audience says, so then, yeah. So this is a market. These are people who want to look for proper education of their kids. Second thing to know, people who go for study abroad, the higher the degree they go for, the more likely they stay, if they are allowed to. We should talk to all our ministers of interior, because they have different ideas than the Minister of Trade, Finance, and International Relations on that. There's an opportunity. This is how it develops right now in terms of predictions. And the vast majority of people who are on the level to study are not in Europe. They are not in the United States. They are in Asia and Africa. The clever future lies in Asia and Africa. Also something that the German car producers should learn, but you know, that's a different story for a different presentation. So basically what I want to say is, stop considering international students to be a burden, a problem. They have issues. We have to solve their issues. They are your solution. But it's not like you can just simply replace a student from the next village by a student from a different country. You made that very, very nicely clear. And it's not only language. It's just simply that, of course, if I have a different customer, and let's face it, Generation Z, and then we turn to the Greek alphabet now, we have then alpha, beta, gamma, delta, generations have different attitudes and opinions. And it's not our purpose to move them back to what I thought was maybe the way I was educated, which could have been better. But it's this, and here that you have the opportunity at the FH Kärnten. You stabilized the population, you stabilized more or less the percentages, but Peter if you want to counteract what happens in Kärnten, first of all, hope that your governor, when he gets the wine, that he also brings in a lot of people who reside here and produce kids, because you need just more kids. But you also can use international students to counterbalance this very well. It just comes as a price, but they are solutions. We all are solutions in other countries for the problems, because we can tell people how we perceive what happens in the country. We can teach them how it is to have a different glass on when you look at your own society. They can talk about the climate effects. You know, when you look at your country, your ancestors didn't think that half of their country might drown pretty soon, or that your country might have a drought for 50 years. I was in Italy. There are places where they didn't have rain now for 5 years. So what I call internationalization for society, which is actually one of the great things in the ACE2 network, I loved Work Package 4. That's one thing that you can address. You can widen the horizon. You can bring in qualified workforce. There's a lot of aspects. I don't have to read. You can read for yourself. There are a lot of pluses from having people from a different background in your group. You study differently. You suddenly see that not everything is the way you thought it always has to be. That changes you, and you can never change back. That's the good thing. But what matters most is impact. It doesn't help to just recruit hundreds of students from one country, put them in a classroom and hope for the best. You will have an impact, just not a positive one. We did years back the first ever Erasmus impact study, real scientific study on the real measurable impact on personality. First news is, yes, you have a significant measurable. For medical researchers, we used Cohen's d for effect size. You can really measure a difference. But bad news, also quite a lot of people have a negative impact. Because they go abroad and they think, yeah, it's as terrible as I thought it would be. So the number of students, no impact. The number of exchange agreements, no impact. The amount of tuition fees you raise have no impact on any of the big things. Those are just numbers. None of that matters. Instead, what matters is when you address the needs of people, when you ask people for their needs, when you figure out, it's basically like every business, or for politicians. I mean, when your governor meets, when you meet entrepreneurs from the region, you don't tell them how they should behave, you ask them what they need. And then you figure out, I guess, what politics can do to make their life easier. Students are the entrepreneurs in your classroom, nothing else. And you need to control the effects. That's my job. And I tell you very often, it's not done. People just hope for the best. Send people abroad and say, they will get better people. No, not necessarily. Not if you don't measure it. And the big point is you can only do that when you develop something that I call a global impact mindset. When you educate people in your classroom that go out and look at the world in a way that they say, I'm a small wheel which matters, and I am not just here in Carinthia doing my thing, but what I do here has an impact somewhere else. And what happens somewhere else has an impact on me. None of you will take a job which is not to some extent international. Nobody. There are no jobs which are essentially only national anymore. How do you do that? Because this is what you need. It means that you adapt differences. And that is hard for all of us. But that's what you have to do in the classroom as an academic, as an administrator with your students, as a student with other students. You have to adapt to differences. You have to see the concept of diversity much deeper. That is also, every person who is different is diverse in their way. And that makes teaching harder, but also bloody much more interesting. you know. On the other hand, you need an impact mindset. We need all to look at, it doesn't matter what I do. I need to know what I achieve with my action. I need to check that. I need to not assume that what I do has a positive impact. If I teach just with the opinion that when I teach it's fine, they love it, you know, because I think it's great, chances are it's not. And this is something that is not there yet in many institutions, in many of us, in me every day. Because we always have to reassess ourselves. You know, every single day when we work, right, we have to look, did I achieve what I wanted to achieve? Go back to that, measure it in some way. There are different ways to do it, but I always say, somebody who tells me you cannot measure, that's very often, you know, I'm also, you know, part-time professor, so if professors tell me, you cannot measure what I do, I say, yeah, I bet I can. But, I say, the number alone also doesn't tell me enough. I have to understand why it is like that, so we have also to have a qualitative aspect to it. But nobody should tell me you cannot measure. You can always measure. And this leads me to the thing which honestly, I'm still flashed. I went here and I have this intro presentation today. And I'm honest, okay? I came here, I've seen a lot of networks. Same thing. I've seen a lot of things. I expected, yeah, I see a standard presentation. I will be super underwhelmed. I will be bored. I do my emails. I did not look at my emails 1 minute, because not only this activity here is different from many I've seen, the University Alliance you are representing is very different, because you have very exciting work packages, you have them thought through in a way that I have not seen in many alliances, and you have an idea about the societal impact. My favorite, I come to that in a second, is in that respect the work package 4. Here, I leave that to you, but the important thing is, when you look at the philosophy of the international alliances, their idea was to change society. Their idea is that a combination of a few can make a much bigger impact than each of them in their country. And they explicitly say, here, there, contribute to solving global societal issues. So there we are. So not only do I like to talk about the problems the world has, it also matters. That's a nice side effect. But what is the situation in Austria? Just briefly, I mean, you know it, but maybe not everybody else. So far, 17 are in, 2 as coordinators, but only you managed it in 2024. You also already said that. And I know a lot who try to get in because it is the last round. That's at least what the EU says at this moment. Wait and see. I could not find numbers on the students involved, but it's a pretty big group. For me, I see the network really solving or addressing all the 4 aspects that I find relevant. And I learned a lot from your presentations because I also forgot some. I just wanted to focus on the big ones. I think you have even work packages for all of them. Yeah? You have the AI in, you have democracy under attack is for me under the work package 4 so much, but also the aging societies in, and for sure the climate change. So it is a way to do it. I think it is a great way to go for my concept of the global mindset, because there are many activities you can do, all the exchanges you were mentioning and everything. But in essence, to do this here, if you can manage to create an ACE to Europe environment, that people come to the institution and immediately feel this is not a Corinthian, not a Portuguese, not whatever university, this is something different. This is something, it's international at every point. That is what I see, what is a huge advantage of this network that you can generate from it. And as I said, work package 4, I love it. Yeah, sorry, try to focus on that at one point. I think what you really should do, because I honestly are not so sure that so many of the existing networks, alliances, do it that much, is to really have an impact orientation. I've seen that in your work package 8, if I get it right. You have good focus already on the long part. Make everything count. Measure, 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 and use it for, like every company does it, use it for progress. That's for me the important thing. So basically, to put it short, is what you want is to make every member of this University of Applied Science and all the members in the ACE community as well, every graduate and every citizen of the region a global citizen. That is for me the key point. I cannot tell you what it means yet, because I would make a lot more money if I knew that. But that's the goal. What you need is something very simple, a good theory of change, and above else, a culture for tolerance of failure. I'm a German, okay? In Germany, failure is unacceptable. That's why you have a culture of guilt very often in situations. So you avoid making mistakes. Where's my colleague from Ingolstadt? Oh, I thought he would, whatever. He could have maybe commented on it, but it's very often a culture of guilt. You try to avoid mistakes, and that's a problem. So please have tolerance for failure. Try stuff, and if you cannot make it, try something else. That's, for me, that's crucial in this whole thing. This is just an example of how I would see it, that you say, well, if these are the things we want to address, we have to look at the impacts that change this, and we have to look at how our actions contribute to the impact. Slight thing, I mentioned it to you, I just want to say it. Basically, impact is like Heisenberg. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. You know where the electron is or how fast it is. You cannot know both at the same time. Impact is a blurred thing. Like, let's say, you know, you sit here now and my talk has an impact on you. I hope a positive one. But maybe that is because you had a great lunch. And you maybe think it's terrible, and that's maybe at it because you didn't have lunch yet. You know? So we are not simple creatures. A lot of things contribute to the impact, but we can try to fence it in and try to understand it by measuring it from different sides. What it needs, and that's why I love, you know, kind of, if something goes wrong. If something goes wrong, I have to step out of my comfort zone. I'm right now totally in my comfort zone, okay? Totally. So that's not good, because I cannot develop. So I need to challenge myself, or you need to challenge me, to step out of it to become better. And I think that is very important for you now. You basically pushed yourself out of the comfort zone with this alliance, because there is no way in heaven or hell that you can do what you did before and go on. That's over. You know, your life before the alliance, gone. Yeah. So I think this is something that one has to consider. You can never go back. It's impossible to go back. But it's also for those people who made a bad experience. It's impossible to go back and do as if you did not make the bad experience. So when you now go into the projects, the most important thing is, before you push people into an action, 120 trainings? Juan, ¿estás serioso? It's recorded, right? So I cannot use the words I would normally use. It's a lot. Let's put it like that. So the risk is you put a lot of people in these trainings. They go in because they are forced to go in, because Peter came and said, you know, it's your choice to go in. If not, no salary. No, you know what I mean? So if you push people by mass into activities they don't buy into, you will have a negative effect. So before you do it, you really have to think about how can we generate buy-in, how can we love people. Peter, I do you a favor, I bring in the Tom Sawyer principle. Yes, I give it. Who of you knows Tom Sawyer? Yeah, no you don't. Who of you read it when you were young? Who of you read it when you were an adult? Yeah, makes a huge difference. It's one of the cleverest books ever written. There's this situation when Aunt Polly on a Sunday asked Tom Sawyer to paint her fence. In Mississippi in summer, 30 degrees, 90% humidity, terrible. Every normal boy would have been like, oh, what the hell? And would do it like this. Tom Sawyer stands there and he's like, paints like, you know, it's the best thing in the world. Why? Because he knows the fence is on the way to the river. So on Sunday, every boy will pass on that path to go swimming. So within a few minutes, the first boy passes by, looks at Tom and says, are you stupid? You're painting a fence? We go swimming. And he said, I can swim all day, but you know how satisfying this is? Look, it gets so wide. It's so beautiful. Oh, sure. It's so beautiful. It's the best ever. After a few minutes, the boy looks and says, can I try? Now, most of us would have said, yeah, here, try. No. As a business person, make it a scarce commodity. So he asks, what you give me for it, so that I allow you to paint. He gives him a rubber or something, I don't know, something small. They are poor kids, you know. He takes that, lies down on the grass, the boy paints, and he says, only 10 minutes. So it makes it again scarce. Why 10 minutes? Because average, every 5 minutes a boy passes by. Within 5 minutes, the next boy comes and another one, and the next boy does not ask Tom what he's doing and why. He asks the other boy who paid for painting. And the other boy sells the painting to the next boy because he's so enthused, because he paid for it, because it's great. So that goes on. There's a line of guys waiting. At the end of the day, the fence is painted 3 times. Tom Sawyer worked 5 minutes, made a fortune in small things, and about 20 to 50 boys are super happy because they spent 5 to 10 minutes on a useful, purposeful thing and then went swimming. Win, win, win. And this principle is what you need in the alliance. You need to get the first people who are convinced and who buy in. And those are the next ones who tell their colleagues, their friends, how great it is to do it again. I see that with students all the time. When we ask students on evaluations, they come back. We do monitoring in the Czech Republic for the National Agency for on Internationalization at universities. And we ask them, how many people did you tell about your experience? And did you motivate to go abroad? Every single one of them motivated at least 2 to 5 people. So, and that's where I want to close. I think I'm probably in time. If not, tough luck. Yeah. Whatever it is, it's not about doing things, you know? It's not administration. It's not about, this is my task, I mean, Alexandra, if you just say, oh yeah, we did the conference, everybody was there, it means nothing. But if afterwards you go home and you change your institution, you change your life, your friends or whatever, then you have impact. And that matters not only for university work, that matters for each and every one of you on each and every decision you make in your life. You know, 20 years I was running for career. Not money, I was in the wrong field for that, even in consultancy, but I was looking for career, importance, relevance. Now I go for happiness. And what makes me happy is when the people I work with are happy. That's what makes me happy, and that's the same for you. You are for sure the happiest when the people you are with are happy. You know, Peter will be super happy when next time the governor comes, gets his wine, and he's like, yeah? So that's the point. That's what it all is about. and internationalization is just such an easy way to be happy. So that's what I want to leave you with. Make an impact because it makes you happy, and when it makes you happy, all your people around you will be like, finally. Yeah? So with that, I just thank you for the opportunity to say something. I wish you a great time. I think it's now time. I think I can go home now. Thank you. No. Bye.
Wait. There are still some people who would like to talk to you, okay? Please. I
cannot go?
No, you cannot. Please.
Okay.
I have prepared a very diverse group of speakers for today. Please, can you join me on the stage?
Stuck with us now. Oh, I'm stuck with you.
So we have Ulla Birnbacher, the director of our new bachelor degree program taught completely in English, Green Transition Engineering.
Hello, good afternoon.
We have the keynote speaker from the session just 2 hours ago, Mr. Joachim Ekström from Uppsala University. He is an expert in international recruitment. We have our graduate and student, Foram Gochel. And we have Martin Gradl, the head of the sector Erasmus of our national agency, ÖAD.
Good afternoon.
And we have Alexandra.
Yes, and I'm also available for questions.
The one with the chocolate. I would like to start off with just asking you, which is the global trend that has the strongest impact on your work right now, and why?
Well, we are busy with ecological transformation and digital transformation, as these are the topics of our study program. And we want to educate our students to be able to solve the challenges ahead of us.
My job is to get the right student into the right program with the right expectations and background to actually be successful. Easy job, regardless if that program is at Uppsala University or not. And we're good at communicating with students about these things and helping them. Now I have a new sort of intelligence to communicate with, the artificial intelligence. And we need to adapt to generation alpha, beta, etc., who will use ChatGPT and other things to help them in the study choice. And I don't know how to do that yet, so I'm really curious about that. That's my challenge.
Yes, one of the challenges as students is AI. It's very tempting to use it, but for us it's like Google, but better answers. And it's a challenge because we know it's not correct, it's not fully there. So one of the biggest challenges is how to really use it well so that we don't fumble into mistakes and we are not using the wrong data.
Yeah, maybe it's not the answer you expect, but I would like to say that all the challenges have impact on our work, and I see this as very positive because it's the sign that the Erasmus program is a program in the society. It's a very successful program of the European Commission, and I think it's a good sign that we have to deal with all the challenges.
And for me and for my team, I guess it would be the international students, because we have students who come from regions affected by war or poverty, and we have to somehow help them to integrate here.
Yeah, so at least I was not entirely off the chart. I would like to start with you, Martin. I mentioned the global mindset, and now, of course, the ÖAD is doing like millions of projects and programs, but if you would have to define what a global mindset is for the ÖAD, what would that be?
Yes, I think in the focus of higher education, it's important for us to encourage curiosity and willingness to innovate and to stand, that's very important, for reliability, quality, and customer orientation, because we can do our successful work just in cooperation with the higher education institutions in Austria. And therefore, I would also like as I'm here now today at your institution, to thank you for the good cooperation in the last years, and especially the international office. I think it's a very fruitful cooperation. What is also very, very important for our global mindset is to stress diversity and inclusion. And this in many aspects. There are some keywords, for example, to drive our work for internationalization for all. And internationalization at home is very important, I think. And I think today it's also an important contribution for internationalization at home, also for all of the people who cannot take part in mobilities, etc. And a last aspect, the global mindset for me means also to drive forward internationalization to all parts of the world. Because partly if we think on internationalization, we think on specific countries, our partner countries, but really to think in all parts of the world is very important, I think.
Thank you. Talking about all parts of the world and those coming here, Foram, I mean, I heard like rumors say that you are a pretty active student here at the university. Now, of course, we know everything is great at the university, that's clear, but if you had the magic wand, what is it that you think the university could do to make life easier for international students, to create a global mindset that supports them even better than it does now?
I think the university does a lot. When I first came here some years ago, I was very well welcomed, and we had a nice welcome days and a buddy system, but for sure there's more room for an opportunity to change. From my exchange semesters to exchange semesters during my bachelor's and master's, I did see something that I thought we had here at CUAS, and that was a canteen that was for the students, something where students could go and eat every day, and something that was affordable. So that is something that would be really nice and appreciated by the students. We also want to get closer to the Austrian culture, so maybe it's a way to eat Austrian food, but also bring international cuisines here using local ingredients. So I think having a canteen that is affordable for students would be something really good.
I think we could, yes. Mr. Governor, to have the chance to get really nice wine here often, maybe you can discuss with the rector to have a nice kind of wine cafe bar where the students at reasonable prices can also eat some and sometimes meet you. That could be nice. And by the way, I think teaching after a glass of wine is so much more relaxed. So, Joachim, as an expert on recruitment, I mean, everybody talks about recruitment as if they have dollar signs or euro signs in their eyes, and they see the student, yeah, check money. But that usually doesn't mean that they want to change themselves. And what is your experience? We heard already one request from the student, but what are other needs that are not answered by universities or that are a problem? What is your experience there?
I think we have to be self-aware as universities and realize what we're good at and what we're not good at. There are some students who would like to have campus pubs at my university. We don't allow that in Sweden. What I'm getting is, I was speaking at the EAE conference in Toulouse last month, and I got a question from the audience about something I said, and his point was, but we have 200,000 students in Vietnam who wants this. And I'm like, I don't care about those 200,000 students. I care about the 5 for whom we are the better choice. Because there's no university in the world who is perfect for everyone. But there's some university who is perfect for someone. And I want to find the students who will be very happy at my university and who I can help better than most others. That's my aim in life, in general. So, small goals.
Yeah, he's so moderate. Big goal. So for me, that is interesting, that indeed, I mean, we should not look at the big numbers, we should look at the individual people. That relates very, very well to you when you have your classroom, and it's heterogeneous in many ways. What do you do to support global thinking in your classroom, Ulla?
Well, we are lucky to have really a very diverse classroom. We have 17 different nationalities in our group, where we started this year. And so for us, the onboarding phase was very important, that our international students got to know each other and to know about the institution, yeah. So they are coming here, they are new to everything. So getting them connected, making them realize that they, as a group, help each other, and together they achieve more than just considering their own person. I think this is the way we help them to become real global citizens.
Yeah, so that brings us from the academic, from the recruitment, the student himself, the national organization, to the institution. So you, as somebody who has the small task of now dealing with all the internationalization activities that come through the alliance and other stuff, what do you see, what can be done on the institutional level to build a global mindset, Alexandra?
I think it would be important to create an environment where diversity is valued but also actively engaged with. And here I don't mean only hiring people or collaborating with people with different intercultural background or offering trainings on intercultural communication, more enhancing mobility or fostering partnerships, international partnerships, because this is the way where you get a very first-hand global insight, where you are exposed to global standards, where you are getting to know the best practice examples. And I also think as soon as this global thinking, global mindset is taken into consideration by decision-making, by strategy, but even by daily operations, I think it sets a tone that international perspective is valued. And even events like this, where we celebrate international achievements, where we celebrate diversity, this also gives a sense of appreciation and motivates colleagues to get engaged.
Thank you. I would like to jump now from the institutional to the alliance level. That's okay. And of course, one of the topics is the tech revolution, right? I mean, that happens, and typically most of the innovative companies are startups. So that means they fail, or the people had proper education in entrepreneurship. And I think in Germany, at least, it's like 80 to 85% fail in the first 3 to 5 years because of the lack of entrepreneurship. So I would be interested, Ulla, as the expert, what would you wish that could come from the Alliance in terms of helping you to teach this and helping you to create this kind of a global entrepreneur at the university?
Well, what I really do hope for is that we can collaborate and work together on topics, of our future challenges. And I would like that our students get in contact with students from the other partner institutions to discuss these problems, because the startup companies, they are the ones who have to be part of the solution to solve these problems. So, and maybe we could organize some hackathons that we bring together students from different organizations and that they work together and discuss and find solutions for the challenges we put up for them. So really to engage this thinking for solutions, and then the next step is how to found a company and so on. This is the next step ahead, maybe not the focus in the bachelor program, but for the next step in the future.
Yeah, thank you. So that's the way how you from the academic side would see how, one example how the Alliance could support. Now you from an outsider perspective, right? How would you say, Joachim, could the Alliance help the recruitment part?
I want to add to what you were talking about with impact, because
Please.
I think that's so important. I think we are too focused on talking about ourselves and what we are doing rather than the impact we are having. But I think we also should talk about which impact can we empower you as a student to have on the world. I think that's the second link in that chain, because universities are just vehicles for change. We can teach people some skills and some theories and some good ideas, but it's also a melting pot of new ideas. And we need to articulate very clearly and practically exactly what are the USPs, the unique selling points that we have at the university in terms of the impact we empower our students to make on the world, rather than talking just about ourselves and the impact our alliance has on our university. That's my 2 cents.
That brings us obviously right to you, Foram. So if it's okay, you don't have to, but besides the obvious question, what the student benefits could be in an alliance, it's also, you said that you would like to, you want to make an impact in your life later, whatever you do. You want to make a change. Maybe also for you personally, where would you see an opportunity in this alliance to strive for that goal? Do you see one already, or what would you wish from the alliance for that?
I'm going to go on the website and check which summer school programs or intensive programs we have, because I think when as a student in bachelor's, I had the opportunity to take part in 2 blended intensive programs, the Global Case Study Challenge and the Sustainable Entrepreneurship Week in Startup Carinthia, and this really helped and benefited me, so I know firsthand what benefits I get from such programs. So I would, of course, also say to all the students that please go find the opportunities. There are a lot. If not, create them. Be open-minded and be curious, because for sure CUAS can help you find or create these opportunities that you want, because it really makes a difference and you can learn a lot.
Yeah, I'm super sure that we will see you somewhere in some really interesting position later. Martin, I mean, obviously everybody is enthused when they are in an alliance. There's of course also the question, how are alliances affecting the institutions who are not in them? That's maybe a story for a different meeting, I don't know that. But in general, what do you think, what should universities take into account when they build the alliance? Because the application is not building it, right? The application is just, as Joao said, it's starting the business. But then now you have to build it. What is your experience also from the other alliances?
I think many things have already been mentioned today. It's important to say that an alliance is more than a project. It's not another action of Erasmus+, it's more. It's really for many years to work together, to have common goals between different universities and higher education institutions in Europe. And I think the European Commission has said that it's a flagship initiative for the European strategy for European universities. And yes, as I've said, it's more than a project. What is very important, and it's also very important for me to mention this, is it's the work for the society, and therefore, you have already mentioned it, not to forget the institutions which are not, the higher education institutions which are not part of a European university. I think it's really a task of you all in this room to find ways to spread the results also to the other higher education institutions in your countries and in Europe. I think that's very, very, very important, but it's not the goal to become a two-class society. And a last thing is also not to forget, I think, the successes in European programs you have already had in the past years. For example, the University of Applied Sciences in a very successful capacity building projects, or the international credit mobility projects. And it's not the aim of the European universities to replace something, but to find synergies and to use these experiences. I think that's very important to have in mind.
Thank you so much. I always think when I look at the classical, partnerships like an Erasmus agreement or something, and the alliances, for me that's the difference between a traditional marriage and a polyamorous relationship of like 10 people or so. Even a marriage of 2 people of whatever gender is complicated enough, we know that. But if it's a group of 10 to make all of them happy, Good luck with that. And I think that is in a way, but that is in a way exactly, you can just take how relationships work. We once did a project on, that was very funny, on dating strategies in international relations, and we showed psychological research of how you select partners and what defines successful human relationships and how that is exactly the same for university relationships. So there is something to be said for that. But what it means is that this complex situation is also at your university. You know, that's not just, I don't know, the international office and the rector. That's also very polyamorous. There are the academics, there are the administrators, the technicians, the students on different levels, the society around it. The governor. So there are a lot of people involved. And I think, Alexandra, what I would be interested in is, you are now blessed and cursed with the thing to make the alliance work in the institution from the internationalization perspective. How do you want to do that? What is your vision for that?
Well, my vision would be to see this project and process as a strategic platform to enhance the global visibility and standing of all our institutions, and also to foster international partnership. And what I think the mission of all the project coordinators and also the IROs would be to promote collaboration by offering those shared space for education, for research, for innovation, by facilitating joint degree or blended degree programs, whatever initiatives there are. Then enhancing mobility, so putting the global competencies of an individual in focus. And also visibility, enhancing the visibility of the activities, but also of all the institutions. I think our mission would be to somehow create spaces where people meet, welcoming atmosphere, where people can work together, experience something together, because this creates positive memories for your whole life.
Yeah, oh, you shouldn't say memories. If there wouldn't be a fantastic tenor, I would say we all start to sing Cats now. But, folks, there's a huge advantage of having, prepped a discussion, because they were all mortally afraid to talk too long, and they didn't, so we have some time for discussion. And I would like to, if that's okay with you as the boss, if I just go around and we just ask you, do you have questions, comments, something you want to tell the others? Now is your chance before we close the panel with a final word. Yes?
Hello everybody, my name is Victoria Scariano and I am a teacher on the Department of Radiology Technology, and I would like to know from our international partners, what strategy do you have to involve the collaborators of the universities to engage themselves in these projects? So there's time, there's the question of money, and what solutions do you have? Yeah, that would be my question.
So basically, how to do more and better with less. Yeah. Maybe is one of the two of you willing to answer it already, or shall we keep it to the... It's totally fine to delegate it. Anybody wants to say something from the university partners to give an example? Because actually, we are not that much the experts. The experts are somewhere.
Hi.
And Juan, yes.
I think one of the things that are already being stressed by Yui in this talk, in the end, everything is about relationship. So if you are a person that want to foster and develop something, you need to connect with the people. So you need to find effective ways of communicating the project, what we want to, and like conquer this person to join in. So one of the strategies is definitely really explain very well what is this thing of the alliance, meetings, but not formal meetings at all, just in the coffee shop, just in the cafeteria, in the places where you find each other, and you see, this is something that you can contribute in. Because when we talk about relationship, it's really about how people feeling useful, how can they contribute, and if you give them this sense of contribution and that they can benefit somehow from it, it doesn't necessarily mean benefit from money. It will, you will conquer person to join your task. So, but also I don't want to go further on this, but I think there is a really important issue here, and it will be very important for the Alliance. First, cultural diversity is really as important as biodiversity for humankind to drive. And so this is one of the aspects that need to be stressed out. Another point is the awareness. We need...
You have to cut short because we want to have one and then we all have to...
I'm sorry. There is a lot of the issues, but at the end it will be finishing in one point, is mental health. And what we are talking here about is mental health. And strong relationships will that.
I cannot, you know, I know the discussion is great, but if I don't give him the word, he's one of my former clients, so I have to be nice to him. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. No, I completely agree with our colleague from Portugal. Maybe it's the Southern European approach, because what we are doing now inside our institution is not just giving them information. We start from what we know from them. So we approach them knowing more or less what are their needs maybe, or their aspirations, because they don't have time, they don't know about this. And we prepare also communication for specific groups. So it's not like a place like this. Maybe 3 people, we focus, we prepare, we adapt, and we kind of try to discover a motivation to engage them, not to give them information, and then to continue. So it's a process, but I think it's the way it works, the relationship and the personal approach.
Yeah, I love the word biodiversity, because I'm also a biologist, and we are all learning from biology and the ecosystems, and so the diversity has to be seen as a holistic term for every situation, and also for this university alliance. I think I love this. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I would love to have more, but then she gets angry that I run out of time.
Just a short comment, because I think this is important, about learning from different cultures, okay? Because there are things that we have in our different cultures that doesn't exist in the other cultures. Like, I found a different word that we don't have in Portugal. Eisen, a small lunch, how is it named? Jausen. We don't have that in our culture. We don't understand what is that. Exactly. So I need to learn this concept. And also we see that there's a fascination for red wine, but for us, red wine is very regular drink. We drink it at lunch all the time, so we need a lot to learn between each other cultures, because there are different concepts that we have, and that's part of this project also. Thank you.
No problem. But also to be, and also to say, an important thing what you raised is, of course, the institutions have to make priorities. So they have to tell you what not to do anymore in place of what you do now. So you cannot do everything and then on top of it something new. With that, we come back to the great philosopher. The one chance you have now is, with which statement do you want to send the people home? Alexander, you want to start?
I think we tackled a lot of issues today, and I think the Alliance is a place where we can, or we must, put all this together.
And my dream is that every single person in Europe feels the impact of the Erasmus program and the different actions.
I think you mentioned earlier, students are not a burden, international students are not a burden, but a benefit for the institution and the region.
from a recruitment perspective, be honest. We are gambling with people's lives and futures, and we need to respect that. It's important to bring in talent and new ideas, but not to the cost of the individual.
Well, then I close with, we all need a global mindset to solve the global challenges. So, hope for the best.
That's so nice. I thank you all. I thank you all for sharing your views and your opinions. Thank you all for the attention. I'm sorry we did not have more time to engage, but I hope you have chances to talk to each other during the afternoon as well. Have a great life.
Well, 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 Uwe. So many issues to tackle. I know that our time today was very limited, but are you available in case we would like to continue this dialogue in the future?
Of course, never. No, of course. I mean, we are not pro bono, so we also live on this kind of stuff. So yeah, of course, if your institution, other institutions want to work with us on the aspect of impact in internationalization, etc., happy to see you at one point, and also maybe some of you in some of the courses. Take care.
Thank you. So we have concluded the formal part of the event, and in a few minutes we are going to move to the foyer for a more informal gathering. Our students prepared some traditional dishes for you, so make sure you taste the international cuisine. We also have some international music for you. And lastly, our CUAS staff members from academia and research. They are waiting there for you to showcase their experience, their examples of good practice. So make sure to engage with them, ask them questions, and learn from their experience. And as we come to the end of the show, I would like to express my words of gratitude, sincere gratitude, to everybody who made this event possible. You have seen some of us here on the stage. Could I have the next slide, please? But actually, there were far more people working in the background, and I think they all deserve a huge applause. Thank you. And now, let's carry on the spirit of collaboration as we continue to work together. I hope you will enjoy the evening. Thank you.